No one expected what happened today for Palantir. The price is correcting really hard. Everyone is panicking. The trade war is making things unclear. Around $3 billion is questionable. However, one analyst stepped in, and actually it might mean the other way around. And Palantir might potentially even rise after this. That 500% pump might be coming soon. What is happening? And what on earth am I even talking about? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer. Today was a wild ride for Palantir, but not in a good way. The stock just took a serious beating, sinking all the way down to $74 per share. That's a shocker, especially since just weeks ago, Palantir was on fire, breaking record after record like it was unstoppable. It felt like nothing could slow it down. But now, the whole vibe has completely changed. The mood flipped fast. Investors who were celebrating not long ago are now feeling the heat. Some are panicking, others are scrambling to figure out their next move, and a good chunk of them are already selling off their shares. There's a lot of uncertainty in the air, and the shift happened so quickly that even seasoned traders are caught off guard. The big question now is, what's next? Was this just a temporary stumble, or is Palantir about to face a much bigger downturn? Some are hopeful this is just a bump in the road, while others are bracing for more trouble ahead. Either way, this sudden drop has everyone on edge, and all eyes are on what happens next. One analyst even broke down what's really happening with Palantir's price chart, and it's pretty eye-opening. He pointed out that Palantir is following the classic bubble pattern, the same one seen in other stocks before they crashed. He even mentioned a bear trap that happened back in August last year. Looking at the chart, you can clearly see the different phases playing out. The hype, the peak, the drop, and now, the uncertainty. It's a textbook example of how stocks get overextended, and the big lesson here? Never buy into the hype when a stock is way over its natural range. For those still holding on to Palantir or thinking about buying, according to the analyst, the chart is basically a warning sign. It shows where things could go next, and honestly, the picture isn't looking great. However, not all analysts are bearish on Palantir. One analyst actually seemed pretty impressed, saying that given everything happening, he expected Palantir to drop all the way down to $50 by now, but it hasn't. Instead, it's holding up better than he thought, which says a lot about how strong Palantir Nation really is. Despite all the fear and uncertainty, there's still a solid group of investors standing by the stock. They believe in Palantir's long-term potential, and that kind of loyalty can make a difference. When a stock has a dedicated following, it doesn't just crumble overnight, even when the market gets rough. Of course, resilience doesn't guarantee a rebound, but it does show that not everyone is ready to count Palantir out just yet. However, you might still ask, what is actually happening? Why is this happening? The real reason? Trump's trade war. One analyst broke it down. Palantir was flying high at the start of the year, jumping over 60% thanks to a solid earnings report. But now, almost all of those gains are gone. Not because of any bad company news, but because of bigger problems, falling consumer confidence, fears of budget cuts, and the escalating trade war. Palantir is looking like one of the first big victims of Trump's tariffs. High-priced stocks like this get hit the hardest when the market takes a dive, and that's exactly what's happening. The Nasdaq is officially in correction mode, meaning it's dropped more than 10% from recent highs. Investors are getting nervous, and Palantir is caught in the storm. To make things worse, it's struggling internationally too. Trade tensions are making countries like Canada and those in Europe lean toward local tech instead of relying on a US company. Palantir's European business was already weak, and now it's looking even shakier. And then there's the US government, Palantir's biggest customer, making up more than 40% of its revenue, but budget cuts are coming, especially in defense spending, which could be a serious hit. Palantir's software isn't cheap. Last year, with over 700 customers, the company pulled in close to $3 billion in revenue. That means, on average, each customer spent millions on Palantir's products. In uncertain times, expensive software starts looking like an easy expense to cut. This doesn't mean a recession is guaranteed, but if things keep getting worse, Palantir is going to feel it more than most. Some might see this dip as a buying opportunity, but the stock could still fall a lot further if the market keeps sliding. Palantir is a strong company, but right now, the timing couldn't be worse. But here's the thing. While everyone's freaking out over government cuts, one analyst thinks this could actually be great for Palantir. Yeah, the stock took a hit, dropping over 30% in 2 weeks. And sure, the market's shaky thanks to Trump's policies. But instead of this being the end, It might be the perfect setup for Palantir to win big. The US government isn't cutting AI spending. It's ramping it up with a massive budget. And guess who's perfectly positioned for that? Palantir. Wall Street analysts even pointed out that a new executive order basically hands them a government contract on a silver platter. And then there's Europe. With Trump backing away from Ukraine, NATO countries are throwing huge money into defense. Palantir has struggled to break in before, but with all this fresh spending, they could finally make some serious moves. Bottom line, some see this dip as a disaster. Others see it as a golden buying opportunity. If things go their way, Palantir might not just recover, it could skyrocket. So, what does all of this mean for Palantir's price? Well, if everything plays out the way some analysts are expecting, we might not just see a recovery. We could be looking at something much, much bigger. Think about it. The US is doubling down on AI spending. Europe is pouring insane amounts of money into defense, and Palantir is right in the middle of it all. The company is built to thrive in uncertain times. When the government needs efficiency, security, and cutting-edge AI solutions, Palantir is one of the first names that comes up. And as we've already seen, Wall Street is starting to catch on. Remember that analyst who predicted Palantir could hit $500? Back then, a lot of people thought that was crazy talk. But fast forward to now, and suddenly, it doesn't seem so far-fetched. If Palantir keeps landing big government contracts and becomes the go-to AI company for defense and finance, that kind of price target might not just be possible, it could even be conservative. And that's before we even talk about Elon Musk and Doge. We're watching the early stages of something huge. Musk is pushing AI and automation like never before. He and Donald Trump wants to make America the AI capital of the world. And Palantir is one of the most advanced AI companies out there. If there's a wave of new policies, contracts, and partnerships favoring AI-driven companies, it's hard to imagine Palantir not being a major player. The reality is, we're still in the early innings. AI is only going to get bigger. Government spending is just getting started. Big tech, defense, finance, everyone is racing to be at the forefront of AI. And Palantir? It's already deep in the game. If this all plays out the way it's shaping up, today's dip is going to look like a tiny blip on the chart. The same people panicking now might look back and wish they had taken advantage. Because in a world that's shifting toward AI dominance, companies like Palantir don't just survive, they explode. And looking at the long term, the future is looking incredibly bright for Palantir. One analyst summed it up perfectly. This company saw the future of AI long before anyone else, and positioned itself exactly where it needed to be. Palantir has spent years building, refining, and perfecting its AI infrastructure, knowing that one day, governments and enterprises would need powerful tools to turn raw AI outputs into real-world impact. And that's exactly what we're seeing now. While others are just waking up to AI's potential, Palantir has already woven itself into the fabric of this revolution. And that's why this stock still has insane upside. The company didn't chase short-term profits or follow trends. It built the foundation for what's coming next. We're entering a world where AI dominates every industry, and Palantir is set to be the operating system behind it all. So when we talk about price predictions, that $500 target, it doesn't sound crazy anymore. If Palantir continues securing government contracts, expanding its AI dominance, and embedding itself deeper into major industries, it could be worth even more than that. We're still so early in all of this. AI is just getting started, and Palantir is positioned exactly where it needs to be. Those who see the bigger picture now might look back in a few years and realize they were witnessing history in the making. But what is your opinion on this? Comment down below. If you are curious to find more, then make sure to click on one of the videos you see on the screen. And with that, we come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, then turn on the notifications bell on this channel. Missing an important Palantir update might make you lose money, so don't risk it. Also, please share this video with as many people as possible. Let's get this news out there.